We are joined by former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chairman Greco Belica himself. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning, Gretchen, and good morning to everyone.
All right. You proposed the releasing of a 10-year period of SALN declarations. What data are you hoping to find there? And 10 years, I mean, anong makikita natin dito?
Well, of course, first of all, Gretchen, that is the bare minimum when we examine. When we were in the PACC, that is the bare minimum when you examine the SALN. That's for a table investigation, just a basis of comparison. And this is done by every investigator, yung talagang marunong. I think the NBI does the same, so that you will see how much or how little, or did the wealth grow in position commensurate to the salary that he is receiving, or whatever sources of income an official may have. So 10 years is the minimum. But you can also go from the time that he started from public office. So from there, you will see whether his wealth increase commensurate to the salary or the pay that he is given, whether he is in business or not. Kasi po, what's important with the SALN naman is a declaration. So you will be held accountable to your declaration. It's not important whether you're rich or not. What's important is whether you declared it or not.
Ito nga po, may mga lumabas na naiilan, no, na mga SALN, mostly from the opposition. We are seeing the SALNs of from Akbayan, Kabataan Party List, from Senator Risa Hontiveros. Ano po nga inyong masasabi, no, sa mga nirelease nila? Ay tingin niyo po ba these reflect their real declarations, the real status?
Well, what I only saw was what came out in the news. I think this was 1 year SALN lang lahat. So no basis for comparison. Kasi you may have started with very little, Whether you start with a lot or start with a little, it doesn't matter. What's important is where do you compare it. Maybe you started with 1 million 10 years ago, pero you have 10 million now. So where'd you get it? If you're getting 300,000 salary a month, and then you're spending how much also? 200, 300,000 also a month for your family. So where did you get that 10 million? Or maybe you inherited it from someone, maybe from a sale of property, pero your SALN will define it. Or maybe you could have gotten it from a shady business transaction. Table investigation pa lang ito, ma'am. Iba pa ho yung validation ng lifestyle check. Kasi there are properties that you use or that's yours but it's not written on your name. Diba? Or there are properties that you don't declare pero it's actually yours because you use it. You say that you have 1 or 2 cars in your name, pero you have actually 10 cars in your garage, in your house, or spread all over because it's named after everyone. So iba pa ho yung lifestyle check. So, and so you can say now, well, I only have 500,000, 200,000, 1 million, 10 million in my bank. Pero that's because you put your money in your house, you put safe. Ngayon, hindi na nga uso masyado safe ngayon dahil from what we're hearing, we hear congressmen buy houses just to, put their mony there.
Bahay, condominium, life insurance, usually cash transactions, mga sasakyan, dyan na nga po dumadaan yan. And just curious, you were appointed chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission back in 2021 by former President Rodrigo Duterte. What were you able to access then? Because under the former ombudsman, ito po ay kinakailangan ng consent bago ma-release yung mga SALN. Pati ang lifestyle check, hindi na rin pinayagan. What were you able to have eyes on?
Well, yun nga ang naging problema. That happened after we conducted the lifestyle check. That's the thing. And when we filed the case against a congressman, very high-ranking I don't want to mention the name anymore. He's died na eh. Pero we conducted a lifestyle check and nakita namin yan, explained wealth doon. And after that, naghigpit na ang Congress sa pag-release ng SALI. And that's when their memo came out na any congressman SALIN that will be released must pass through the approval of the House. Tapos si Ombudsman also, former Ombudsman also banned the conduct of the lifestyle check because we were conducting a lifestyle check. In fact, when I was, I think the first resolution I passed in PACC when I was appointed commissioner first and then chairman at the end. In 2017, the first resolution I passed is to conduct a lifestyle check among all government officials. So we started collecting SALINs by that because of that. But then the former ombudsman had a different perspective and banned the lifestyle check or the securing of SALIN. In fact, and he was a higher investigating officer than us, so we had no more access with SALINs after that.
But this tightening nga po, nagsimula po ito during the time of the former president, and there seems to be an 8-year black hole on these SALINs. Marami pong hindi nakakaalam. I mean, headlines po yun noong mga nakaraang taon na wala pa rin nakakaalam kung gaano kayaman ang dating Pangulo. Hindi po ba kayo nabahala na si Duterte ang naging dahilan po nitong paghihigpit?
Gretchen, mali ho yung news na yan. Ombudsman ang nagbawal, hindi presidente. We were under the office of the president. We were conducting the lifestyle check among government officials. Si Ombudsman, the Ombudsman is a separate office from the office of the president. Siya ang nag-ban. He is the highest investigating office. Now, ang office of the president itself is higher than the PACC. That's who the PACC reports for. So it's beyond our jurisdiction. But everyone under them, with the presidential appointee, yun ang jurisdiction ng PACC. So, mali po yung sinasabi niya ngayon. Yung sinabi ni Presidente na ayaw niyang ilabas ang SALIN niya, parang ganon, is because it's a political decision, di ba? Pero which is not within our jurisdiction. Politicians were not in the jurisdiction of the PACC, just presidential appointees. Kasi in one point, if you come to look at it, listening at former ombudsman's statements, sabi niya wini-weaponize daw ang SALIN. Well, for politicians medyo, pero for civil service officials, mga appointed officials, hindi dapat ganon. But then, decision ng opisyal na mas mataas sa akin yun, so hindi naman namin hawak yun. Pero I maintain the position that public office is a public trust. Lahat talaga dapat alam natin ang simula hanggang katapusan ng kanilang yaman para ma-gauge natin yung ang tawag nito kung sila ba nagpayaman sa kanilang pwesto. Pangalawa, gusto ko lang palang balikan, yung mga naglabas ng SALIN are not opposition, they're Makabayan Blocks. The Makabayan Blocks and the administration are now working together, so hindi na po sila opposition. Well, they will always be opposing anyone who's in power dahil dati na anyway it's politics. I don't want to get into it, but I'm happy that now pwede na naman na buksan ng SALIN. Well, yung Congress, ang problema niyan, meron pa rin silang ban sa SALIN unless approve nila sa plenary. So until we number 3, integrity ng SALIN, hindi rin naman talaga natin masyado maasahan dahil marami namang hindi dinedeclare kasi based on declaration yan. Like
kung base lang ho doon, Oo. Baka dapat so pati yung Congress, sa BIR din, makita rin natin, side by side yun.
You know what's good to investigate pag Congress, meaning both House of Congress, is not their salary and their salary, but the budget, the pork barrel, and the projects that went through their offices and their districts. Dahil, as investigations show right now, ang commissions na kinukuha nila dyan is 5 to 25%, minsan higher. So doon, based from that, then you can conduct a lifestyle check. You can go check their properties, talk to their, go to the SEC, go to the LRA and check the properties and the companies that they are engaged with. Yun, iba na yun. Iba na, validation na ng lifestyle yun. Yun na yung lifestyle check there. Actually, wag na nating sabihin dito dahil malalaman nila kung ano checkin natin, di ba? Well, hindi ko na kaya ngayon yun. But then if you're an investigator, dapat alam mo yun.
Yun nga ho, parang yun na nga po ang lumabas, marami po nagpo-propose dito na bawasan yung for one DPWH budget ng about 25% kasi kung yun ang lumalabas na cut nitong mga politiko down the chain, pati na rin yung actually politicians yung 25% na yun, Pero saan magsisimula? I mean, mukhang kung ganyan matatamaan po lahat kasi medyo madami-dami po yun, where does the ICI even begin?
Tama naman dapat naman talaga lahat naman may tama. That's what we see in the investigation. The legislative, the executive department, pati non-judiciary may tama dahil ang dami nang nabibiling mga courts. Dapat talaga lahat. At pagka sinuma mo total dito, baka bilang sa kamay ang maligtas sa pagpapayaman. That's why, wala dapat magmalinis dito Ang dapat ayusin ang sistema. The ICI, problematic po yan. It has no jurisdiction. It has no power. It lacks people. It's an independent commission that's very dependent on the president. Pati pera, budget, pati tao, pati lahat walang jurisdiction sa mga masterminds po yan. Ang investigation ngayon has revealed everything na umamin na mga contractor, si Diskaya, nagturo na, tinuro ng mga congressman, itinuro ng mga district engineers, nag-resign na ang buong DPWH from secretary down to the district engineers. Yung mga congressman at mga senador na lang ang nababanggit ang hindi pa naiimbestigahan. Walang jurisdiction ng ICI po doon. Yung mga legislators na pupunta ron sa kanila are all but accommodation. Pag tinanggihan sila niyan, wala silang power to force them. They don't even have the power to send people to jail, to call, to cite anyone in contempt.
Pero hindi ho ba yung status dati ng Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, hindi rin kayo nagkaroon ng ganyang kapangyarihan? Kumbaga, nagpapasa din kayo ng recommendation sa Office of the Ombudsman nung panahon na yon. So, medyo pareho po yung setup. What would you recommend as the better way of pursuing these cases? Because the challenge is, at the end of the day, finding established links to the politicians, yung paper trail na madalas na iiwasan po at mabilis na ding i-deny dahil may mga middlemen na nagpapagalaw ho.
Kaya nga po, ang sinabi ko nung una pa, ang PACC dapat in-strengthen, hindi in-abolish. But it was abolished on the first executive order that was issued by the current president or by the president. Now, after 3 years, kikreate din pala sila ng ICI na mas mahina pa at mas kukonti pa ang kapangyarihan sa PACC. Kaya nung nabasa ko yung executive order, sabi ko, this is an office that is doomed to fail. It will not accomplish the task. That's why kailangan, sabi ko kanina, bigyan ng jurisdiction. It needs legislation. Bigyan ng jurisdiction, bigyan ng tunay na kapangyarihan, bigyan ng kapangyarihan on its own, to stand on its own, bigyan ng pondo. Example, ang pinag-uusapan natin na walang pera dito is 1.4 to 1.7 trillion pesos. Yun ang lumalabas ng mga confessions ng mga congressman at mga senador sa kanilang accounting. Ang ibinigay nilang pondo sa ICI, 20 million for this year. How will that fight 1.7 trillion to 20 million tas wala pang tao? So yun po ang point ko. We've been through it, we fought it. That's why when we were in office in PACC, we had nothing like this kasi may nagbabantay. Ngayon ibinalik nila, pero mas maliit, walang jurisdiction. How will ICI investigate the masterminds? Wala nga silang jurisdiction sa masterminds. Hindi nga lahat yan isasampa nila sa korte. That's why sabi ko, dapat sila na mismo yun. You have to create legislation that will empower the ICI, stick it with the Office of the Ombudsman and open up the investigation. Yun ang pinakamalaking problema ng ICI, kaya hindi magtiwala ang tao dahil nakatago yung investigation. That's why I've been saying, balik nyo na sa Blue Ribbon Committee yan, yung Marcoleta-led Blue Ribbon Committee, and dahil para matumbok-tumbok na. Dahil from the Marcoleta-led Blue Ribbon investigation, natumbok ang mga congressman, ang DPWH, ang contractor, tumbok na eh. Dapat mastermind na, pinagbanggit na lahat ng binanggit na ang lahat ng mga congressman doon. Yung congressman, binanggit na yung presidente. Dapat andun ang ating investigation. Wala na naman po ngayon. So, ito problema tayo.
Iyan nga po ang tawag ng taong bayan, no, na ito ay mabuksan muli sa publiko, no, para for it to regain the trust. But going back to your time in the PACC noong 2021, nabanggit po ninyo na you were ready to file cases against high-ranking government officials, including a presidential appointee, for millions also lost to corruption in the pandemic. Pero may nagtatanong po, bakit hindi po ninyo naimbestigahan itong Pharmally? Sabi nyo, kasi wala kayong jurisdiction, no? Tama ba ako sa private companies? Pero hindi po ba ito ay government to private contract? Hindi po ba covered yan ng mandato ng PACC?
Na-imbestigahan po doon eh. Bigyan ko ng context, Mama. Pumasok yung Pharmally pandemic. Okay? Yung report pumasok sa Blue Ribbon Committee, hindi o sa PACC dahil wala nga jurisdiction ang PACC. So whoever reported it went to the Blue Ribbon. Nag-imbestiga na po ang Blue Ribbon. Now, Blue Ribbon is the strongest and the highest after the Ombudsman. But for me, it is the strongest investigating body in the Philippines because it is open to the public that ang Ombudsman doesn't do. Ngayon, any investigator, pag nagsimula na ang Blue Ribbon Committee mag-imbestiga, manood ka na doon, makinig ka na at maglista dahil doon sa Blue Ribbon Committee, no holds barred doon. Walang jurisdiction limitation mo yun. Kahit former president, senators, congressman, lahat ng opisyal na hindi mo abot ng Blue Ribbon. And when you start yung gagawin mong investigation ng 10 buwan, baka sa isang buwan makuha mo lahat doon ng impormasyon, detalye, confession, admission, ebidensya na pwede mo nang isampa sa korte kagad. So nung pumasok po ang Pharmally, PACC was glued to the investigation, listing down ano ang atin dyan. Sino natin dyan? Si Lloyd Lau, atin dyan. Yung PSDBM, yung DOH, atin dyan. Yung Pharmally, hindi atin yan. NBI yan, or DOJ, or Ombudsman, pwede yan. So that's what we did. But then, ano ang naging resulta? Nakasuhan si Lloyd Lau, nakakulong pa si Lloyd Lau. Nakasuhan ng Pharmally. We took the investigations that we got from the Blue Ribbon Committee and filed cases. And ma'am, bigyan ko ng tamang information. PACC filed 250 cases against high-ranking government officials. Si Secretary Duque, nakasuhan po namin yun. Yung DOH PhilHealth controversy, si Bac pong yung head doon at yung 20 board doon na si Bac because of the exposés and the report that PACC submitted both to the Blue Ribbon Committee in their investigations and to the President. Si Bac po lahat yun. And then, so, yan ang trabaho po ng PACC.
Ano po ang status ng mga kaso na yun at may naibalik po bang pondo?
Yun po ay wala na kaming saklaw. Ang amin pong kapangyarihan lamang ay makapag-file ng kaso, makapag-imbestiga at makapag-report sa Pangulo, nasa korte po lahat yun. Kung gagawa ng isa pang anti-corruption office, o itong ICI hindi naman anti-corruption office yan eh, Infrastructure Commission, Investigation for Interest. So it's not even an anti-corruption office. It's really the office of the Ombudsman that Congress has to empower. I think bigyan nila ng yan ang bigyan pa ng mas malaking ipin, mas malaking pondo, tapos gawing open ang mga investigation. Tapos ihiwalay na po yung national office sa local office kasi when we were in PACC, nilagyan ho namin ng anti-corruption committees ang lahat ng government offices. So meron silang mga PACC na parang nag-iimbestiga doon within the organization. Kaya po ang corruption noon, bagsak na bagsak, yung talagang tagong-tago ang corruption na hindi zero, dahil hindi mo naman si zero ang corruption, pero it's not into this level na naririnig natin ngayon. Kahapon, lumabas.
Wala po ba kayong nung time ninyo as chairman ng PACC, wala po ba kayong naimbestigahan na kontraktor? Hindi po ba nakita na rin itong problemang ito? Kung ganito po kalaki yan? Okay, ma'am. Okay, papaalala ko po sa inyo, no? Si Pangulong Duterte, hindi lang kontraktor ang aming inimbestigahan. Wala kaming private company ang kontraktor. This was sent to the NBI. But the masterminds, the congressmen, the district engineers, siyampu na congressman yung pumasok sa investigasyon ng PACC na binasa at in-expose ni Pangulong Duterte at pinakasuhan kaagad sa amin na isinampa po namin kaagad sa DOJ. Siyampu yun, and then 14 na district engineer sinibak right after dun sa pagbasang ginawa ng Pangulo because involved na nga po sa corruption, sa kickback, sa rig na bidding. Noon pa namin nagawa yan. Yung contractors involved there, ipinasa rin po sa DOJ because it is a private company. So, noon pa yan, ma'am. At nung gawin po namin yon, kalaban, kakampi, makakahalo po doon. There were 9 congressmen, 3 were Liberal Party members, and 3 were PDP members na high-ranking. Kaya nung lumabas po the other 3 were parang, I think they were also independent na or something like that. But then, kaya nung lumabas yung report namin, everybody knew that this was not political, but talaga honest to goodness to. And then sibak lahat. I remember si Secretary Mark Villar pa noon, right after the announcement of the President, that it came from our report. Sinabi niya, ito, report ni Commissioner Belhica to, ng PACC. Sabi niya, right after that announcement, ito yung mga congressman, ito yung mga DE, sinibak kagad yun, relieve kagad sa posisyon, puro may kasko kagad yun. At yung those people who did not, and they did not fall in our jurisdiction, were forwarded to the appropriate agency. At kahapon po si Senator Trillanes nag-file po ng plunder and graft cases versus the former president and kay Senator Bongo related to for awarding billions of pesos worth of infrastructure projects to 2 firms, CLTG Builders pati yung Alfrego Builders, related to the father of Senator Bongo pati ang kanyang kapatid na related din naman daw sa flood control project sa Davao. What do you make of that? That was filed before the Ombudsman. Do you welcome that? How do you see this move by the senator?
Well, that's the 3rd time I think he filed the same case. I think he filed that again. Filed that in 2019, 2021, and then 2025. Basta para pangatlong beses na niyang final yung kasong yan. At finally, dinala niya na sa Ombudsman. So, okay naman yan. Nasa batas naman yan. Mag-imbestiga tayo. But my take on this, kung mag-iimbestiga tayo ng isa, dapat mag-imbestiga tayo ng lahat. Walang pilian. Dahil, flood control lang pinag-uusapan dito ngayon. Biglang ang layo ng talon. Doon na sa 2016, 2017, 2018. And flood control scandal, nagsimula yan 2022, 23, 24, 25. Biglang ibabalik nyo sa sa 2016. Okay, we know this is politics. Alam natin that this is government playbook na pagka may problema ang administrasyon, isusisiro sa nakalang administrasyon. But fine, sa akin nasa batas yan, mag-imbestiga tayo. Pero mag-imbestiga tayo lahat ng senador, lahat ng congressman, lahat ng opisyal na napasok sa korupsyon, lalo na sa flood control. Imbestigahan natin, sabay-sabay sa Blue Ribbon Committee, sabay-sabay. Kasi, ma'am, merong master list. Hawak ng DPWH, ng DBM, Blue Ribbon Committee, at dapat meron din ng ICI. Merong master list ng lahat ng congressman, senador at distrito na merong flood control projects.
ito
Doon
rin
tayo
po, no?
magsimula.
Yung Alfrego actually had 5 flood control projects sa Davao del Sur. At nandun po yun sa sumbong sa Pangulo website. I guess gugulong na po yun. Pero bilang final question po sa inyo, no? Kayo po ba ay tiwala dito, no? Kay Senator Ping Lacson, kung siya po ay ma-reinstate as Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman. Pati na rin sa ginagawa po ni bagong Ombudsman Boying Remulla, ang kanyang pagbabalik ng pagbubukas nitong mga salin.
Well, maganda yung expose ni Senator Ping. It's well done. Pero yung pagpapatakbo at yung inabot ng Blue Ribbon Committee, mas maganda yung patakbo ni Senator Marcoleta. Dahil I remember, parang tatlong hearing pa lang, tumbok na kaagad ang mga mastermind, mga congressmen. Tinuro na kaagad yung matataas na opisyal. In fact, tumuga na nga si Zaldico na bakit ako lang pinirma ng presidente at pinindara ng kongreso. So, tumbok na until it changed. Pagdating kay Senator Lacson, hindi naman na-pick up from where it left. Meron ng ibang mga mga senador na tinuturo, still fine with me. O di, imbestagahan na rin natin mga senador. Pero yung direksyon ng investigation during Marcoleta, mas malinaw, mas mabilis, mas maganda. Doon talaga lumabas lahat. So I wish na na ibalik kay Senator Marcoleta ang investigation ng chairmanship ng Blue Ribbon for the sake of truth and justice. Ngayon, si Ombudsman Boying naman is a capable lawyer. Magaling pong lawyer yan. And I cannot judge him right now dahil nagsisimula pa lang siya. Pero kung abilidad, kaya niya po yan. Kung capability, kaya ng ombudsman yan. Ang problema ko lang ho, talaga, sana gawin din ng ombudsman yung lahatan talaga. Or sana po ang investigation ng flood control gawing open dahil gustong marinig ng taong bayan to. In fact, I think it was you, Ma'am Gretchen, a celebrity who went out abroad tas ayaw palitan yung pera dahil flood control money raw paggaling sa Pilipinas.
My mom.
Kayo po nabilita akong pangalan. But then, yun po siya sabi ko, this is not only parang national concern. This is an international scandal already. So, all the more, kailangan maging open to the public dahil the whole world is watching. Ma'am, flood control pa lang to. Meron pa kahapon na DepEd. Meron pang, ang dami pa, meron pang DNR daw. So this is really a tip of the iceberg na sana, wag mahaluan. Nahahaluan na nadadivert na kung saan ang issue na sana sa totoo lang, malaman ng tao ang totoo. Make it an open investigation.
We are one with you in looking for accountability and justice for all. Maraming salamat po for joining us today and for telling us all about your time working with the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. We have former Chairman Greco Belhica. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everyone.